Okay, so let's do the
Let's
story.
roll our segue for your story.
I had to write for when
Your
I
Thursday's 13 list.
Crap. What just happened?
You lost your list?
I have no idea. It just happened. No problem. I can get it back.
My list.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Did you spin?
Yes, non sequitur.
Your non sequitur is going to be me. Uh-oh, that's not the one. Nope, that wasn't it either. Jesus Christ, where's the document? Play some music. There it is, all right. I don't know why that last document came up first. That makes no sense. All right, this is 13 famous people who you did not know were Marines. I was a Marine myself, and I did send you a video, by the way. And
Okay.
it has to do with both. The video I sent you started at 1 minute. I don't know if I told you that or not. It has to do with both our list and today's this day in history. So it's kind of a double video thing. 13 famous people you did not know were Marines. Marine Corps is a tough place. I have respect for anybody that made it through boot camp. I don't care what you did. If you just made it through boot camp and did nothing else, that's really tough. I mean, that's almost impossible. It turns you into a different person. At least it tests you. It makes you into somebody that doesn't worry about shit so much. You say, I can solve this. I can do this. It gives you a lot of self-confidence if you make it through. If you don't, well, I don't know what to tell you. Number one on my list is Drew Carey. You remember Drew Carey? Whose Line Is It Anyway? The Drew Carey Show. Now the current host of The Price is Right. That's right. In 1980, The Price is Right. Drew Carey enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve in 1980 and served for 6 years. Since then, he has had his own successful sitcom, hosted an improv show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? And currently the host of The Price is Right, Drew Carey. We had a Marine Corps Reserve for 6 years. He was in the Marine Corps roughly the same time I was in, but he was in the reserves. But even the reserves got to go to boot camp, and they can also be thrown in wars. So don't forget that part. Number two, somebody that actually did go to war, B. Arthur from the Golden Girls. If you know late actress B. Arthur, enjoyed a successful career playing characters on TV, the series Maude and Golden Girls. During World War II, under her birth name Bernice Frankel, she served in the Marine Corps as a truck driver and typist. Not two things you can do at once, but you can do them separately. Truck driver and typist. Oddly, in her later years,
she drove the truck with a keyboard.
Yeah, she was typing while she was driving. Very talented. Very talented. Ran off the road several times. No, I'm just joking. She denied, oddly in her later years, she would deny that she was a Marine. It's possible she was embarrassed by the circumstances behind the blemish in her service record that resulted in a reduction in pay. And B. Arthur is famously, at least to me, from Cambridge, Maryland, where I used to live. There's a mural on the wall, and she's standing right next to Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman, the Underground Railroad lady. Number three, the Everly Brothers. This could be two people, but it's actually one. Phil and Don Everly, one of your famous early rock and roll duos. Singers of Bye Bye Love and Wake Up Little Susie and Dream, 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 Dream. They sing that song. When they enlisted in the Marine Corps Reserve, that's right. They were already famous. Stationed at Camp Pendleton from 1960 and 1962, they frequently entertained their company with impromptu concerts. The duo appeared in the dress blue uniforms on the Ed Sullivan Show and performed Crying in the Rain. So it's one thing to be a rock and roll star and be in the military. It's a whole nother thing to perform in your friggin' dress blues. So everybody's number three. Number four, recently deceased Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman, the actor once known as the hardest working man in Hollywood. And he was in a lot of movies, and he's good in everything. Gene Hackman is quietly retired from acting. Well, he's retired from life now. Hackman was a Marine field radio operator for launching a film career that including roles as an admiral and behind enemy lines, and as an unhinged submarine captain in Crimson Tide. So he did play military guys, and he was a radio operator. Man after my own heart. Way to go, radio guy. Number 5, the rapper, the Jamaican rapper known as Shaggy. Orville Burrell is his real name. Your name's Orville? You change it as soon as you possibly can. Reggae singer Orville Burrell served as a field artillery cannon crewman in the 10th Marines during Operation Desert Storm. It was while leading marching cadences that he developed his vocal talents. That's right. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that. Shaggy went on to have international hits. International shit. I hate that. International hits such as Oh Carolina and It Wasn't Me. It wasn't me. He continued to perform around the world. Number 6. Shaggy's number 5. Number 6 is Montel Williams. Montel Williams, talk show host, who I think he has some kind of cancer and hopefully he's surviving. Montel Williams joined the Marines and went on to boot camp in Parris Island, South Carolina, right after high school. He was groomed for leadership and sent to the Naval Academy, preparatory school. Went to the Naval Academy. Williams spent several years aboard submarines and working in the intelligence sphere. He started as a successful talk show, the Montel Williams Show in 1991. So he was a submariner. Submariners, you got to go through some extensive psychological evaluation because you're going to be underwater in a confined space with a bunch of guys, and it can get to you after a while, I guarantee you. Me just being on a ship got to me. I cannot imagine being under the water for days at a time. Can't do it, man. Sorry. Submariners, something I was never going to do, ever. Nothing I even want to be a part of. Number 7, Steve McQueen. Yeah, Steve McQueen, who was in The Great Escape and some other war movies. He enlisted at the age of 17 and was honorably discharged serving as a tank mechanic and later as part of an honor guard. His service was marked by both struggles with discipline and a notable act of heroism, where he saved 5 fellow Marines during an Arctic exercise. So I think he got demoted a few times, but he did get some heroism medals. So good for Steve McQueen. Number 8 is George Jones, country singer George Jones. Yeah, one of them guys that partied a little too hard for country music. He's a legendary country music because he lived the life, right? He lived that life that you always hear him singing about in country songs. Yeah. But before that, he was a Marine. Yes, country singer George Jones was a U.S. Marine serving from 1951 to 1953 during the Korean War, but was not deployed. He enlisted at the age of 20, went through boot camp in San Diego, and was stationed at Naval Air Station in San Jose, California, where he performed music on weekends. And George Jones apparently later married Tammy Wynette and wrote the all-time tearjerker song of all time. I don't know if he wrote it, but he definitely sang it, called He Stopped Loving Her Today, which, again, he did not stop loving her today. He dropped dead is what he did. He stopped everything today, but the song is, yeah, she left 30 years ago, but he never stopped loving her. She's gone, she took off, and this poor bastard's been living in her memory for 30 years in his sorrows, and today he died. One of the most saddest songs in the history of the world. I can't listen to it. To me, it's like Cats in a Cradle. I cannot listen to that song. Please do not play that song around me. I will break your record player. Anyway,
try not to cry challenge.
Yeah, not a bad song. I just don't want to fucking hear it. All right, I was like, God damn it, this is depressing. Hide all the sharp objects, for God's sakes. Number 9. Yeah, don't play George Jones. He stopped loving her today after you've been drinking, because you might just end it all. Number 9. Ed McMahon. Yeah, Ed McMahon, the guy in Star Search, the guy that introduced Johnny Carson for 30 years, the guy who was going door to door, American Family Publishing, give you a check for $1 million. Ed McMahon was a U.S. Marine who served during World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. You want to talk about a career? Yeah, he was commissioned as a pilot in 1944, retired from the Marine Corps Reserve as a colonel in 1966, and he was awarded 6 air medals for flying 85 combat missions in Korea. So he wasn't just a desk jockey Marine, he was out there risking his life. Good for you, Ed McMahon. What a humble human being. I did not know any of this. I knew he was a Marine. I didn't know about the 85 combat missions. Number 10 is Wilford Brimley. I don't know if anybody remembers Wilford Brimley, but he's that guy with the glasses and the walrus mustache. Kind of looks like a walrus, actually. Like an old tiny guy.
Is that what the Beatles song was about, this guy?
Yeah.
I'm the walrus?
Perhaps John Lennon had an encounter with Wilford Brimley. They dropped a little acid and, hey, I'm a walrus. Anyway, there's your story about Wilford Brimley. You know, he was in the movie Cocoon. He was in a lot of other movies, in commercials for something or other. He did a lot of commercials. Had that mustache. Had this old trusty guy. He was in the movie Cocoon, which featured a bunch of retired old people going to space, but I think he was only in his 50s. He just looked old. He's always looked old. Anyway, Wilford Brimley was a U.S. Marine who served in the Korean War. He was stationed in the Aleutian Islands. He enlisted after dropping out of high school and served from 1953 to 1956. Man, if high school is so hard you join in the Marine Corps, you really hate high school. Reaching the rank of sergeant. After his discharge, he worked at various jobs, including a bodyguard for Howard Hughes. I did not know that. Well, Wilford Brimley living the life. And as a ranch hand before becoming an actor. Number 11 is Captain Kangaroo. Bob Keeshan, the children's television. Yeah, he was not a real captain. Lee Marvin, who was an actual Marine, gave him credit for storming the beach at Iwo Jima, but Bob Keeshan never went to war. He was a Marine, however. Bob Keeshan graduated from high school early, so he was smart. He graduated from high school early, but he was not that smart because he enlisted in the Marines, which is exactly the smartest thing in the world, with the intention to fight the war against the Japanese. But the war ended before he saw the Pacific. He would go on to pioneer children's television, playing Captain Kangaroo. Bob Keeshan, an actual Marine. Number 12 is Dusty Baker, who's famous for being a baseball player and a manager. Won the World Series a few years ago. The Houston Astros was manager. He been to several World Series as manager. So as a player and a manager, Dusty Baker has reached the top of his profession, winning World Series as both a player and a manager. He also served the United States Marine Corps Reserve from 1968 to 1974. As a motor transport mechanic, a role that taught him discipline, teamwork, and other life skills, he says. He enlisted while playing for the Atlanta Braves. He was an actual player in the major leagues, enlisted during the Vietnam War. Crazy, right? And received an honorable discharge. Never went to war. He says, maybe the draft board was a Braves fan, I'm guessing. And number 13 in our list is General Patton himself, the guy who played General George S. Patton in the movie Patton. Guy named George, also named George, but George C. Scott. George Scott, serving in the United States Marine Corps from 1945 to 1949, and reached the rank of sergeant. After his service, he used a GI Bill to study journalism at the University of Missouri, where he discovered his passion for acting. So there's your list. It has mostly actors, a few television personalities, a couple athletes. There's your list of Marines. As we look forward to the Marine Corps birthday in 2 weeks, we'll have November 10th, will be the 250th anniversary of
the U.S. Marine Corps.
The United States Marine Corps, which was founded in Tun Tavern,
Hoorah,
Philadelphia, November 10th, 1775. It's etched into my brain.
Something about Tripoli.
Tripoli, yeah, that was the Barbary Pirates War.
One of the marching songs is something about Tripoli, I think.
I can tell you about, no, it's the song. It's a Marine Corps hymn from the Halls of Montezuma, which was the Mexican War, to the shores of Tripoli, which was the Barbary Pirates War, where Marines were sent over to Libya, around that area, where there was high sea pirating going on. So they just took care of them. It's still happening even back then. Yeah, pirates are pretty, ever since there have been boats, there's been pirates. Anyway, there's your list. I hope you got was it a joke?
I had a non sequitur, and I'm going to talk about Stolen Valor. Kind of related, I guess, but not. There's a character in one of my favorite sci-fi shows, which I can't remember the name of it right now. But in that show, he's like, oh yeah, I was in the Marines, but he was actually just the truck driver in the Marines, the space truck driver in the Marines. And the guy who was an actual Marine was, insulted, right? It's like, I was just a truck driver, okay? Because the whole show, he's bragging about how he was a great pilot. He was a really great pilot, the best pilot anyone's ever seen.
Oh, so he was lying. Okay.
Yeah, but he was just driving transport. He wasn't doing crazy dogfighting maneuvers, was he? So, but it was really impressive because he was a really good pilot in the end, right? He was actually really good at doing combat in the show. Right. But
any Marine,
he rose up to the occasion, which is what any Marine can do, even if you're just a radio tech or whatever.
There is no just in the Marine Corps. There is no just. Everybody in the Marine Corps is a rifleman or woman. Yes. Everybody, right? Everybody. There's no just that at all. It doesn't exist. Anybody that thinks, oh, I was a special thing in the Marine Corps and you were just this thing, they're full of shit.
Yeah.
They're full of shit. You're a Marine. You know what they call the lowest scoring? It's like the old bromide. What do they call the guy who finished last in his class in medical school? What do they call him?
A doctor.
Exactly. So there you go. At least he made it through. A lot of people didn't. So there you go.